Hello Tamers, Rosmero here, and it is finally time to open ST-14 Advanced Deck Beelzemon. A bit of a shame it got delayed, making it unusable in the earlier Demon Bullet Cup events in Japan, but we finally got it. Now let's take a look what we have in this package. So first, I guess we can start with the paper playmats. Let me just unfold it so that you guys can get a better look at what it looks like. Very nice. So over there we have the version that's in purple with the new artwork of ST-14 Beelzemon, but if you prefer, you can flip over to this a slightly more magenta-ish version featuring ST-14 Immon's art instead. But I mean, since this is a Beelzemon deck, perhaps we'll feature this side for today's opening. Okay, so literally all we have left is just this stuff over here. Let's start off with the exclusive sleeves given for these advanced deck set, and I gotta say, even if I wasn't interested in like Beelzemon, I would buy this advanced deck just for the sleeves alone, because just take a look at that design, that emblem of Beelzemon and like two guns on the front. That just looks so cool on the black background. You know what, maybe I'll take one out and show you guys a closer look. Yep, so here is a closer look at the design over here. You can notice two purple wings sprouting out of Beelzemon's back, as well as like the letter B stylized right below him over there. And there are a total of 60 pieces, so if you spend 55 on your main deck and Digitama deck, you'll still have 5 afterwards to do whatever you want with. Okay, now moving on to the cards, which should just be everything over here. Maybe we can start off with the special reprints first. So first we have ST-7 Gilmon, followed by, I believe, ST-6 Vmon, basically the two that can warp evolve into Gallanmon or Alforce Vidramon respectively, while your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon on the field. I'm pretty glad for these reprints, because otherwise the only way to get them is to like buy the STs, but personally not too big a fan of the new artwork. Up next we have BT2 Argomon, perhaps not the best reprints, but I think Bloomlord and Hydra players will be quite happy with this, and I mean, card aside, the artwork and art style is amazing. I'm definitely adding this one to my collection. And up next here we have Tactical Retreat. Pretty funny artwork with Leomon, Erismon, and Meikumon running away from Rebellimon, like causing a rampage in the background like that. But again, I mean, not too spicy, I guess. Next we have the promo Sunarizamon that can give piercing on its own effects and security attack +1 on its inheritable to any of your powerful black Digimon in play. As a black player, I'm personally very happy for this one because he can be splashed in just so many black decks. Not that big on the artwork, but I do like the representation of all of the various rock and mineral based Digimon there, and I'm really hoping we eventually get like a deck based around that archetype, maybe bossed by an SR Bancho Golemon. Okay, next we have ST-6 Pagumon. Again, love the art but not too spicy, I guess. And I think that should just be purples from there. Here we have EX2 Impmon. Well, I mean, this one is just indispensable if you're going to be playing a Beelzemon deck. I believe there are 2 copies. And finally, we have a reprint of BT2 Beelzemon. It's nice to get a reprint of a secret, and the artwork absolutely kills, but like, with the new ST-14 Immon that can warp into any Beelzemon from your trash, I'm personally expecting this guy to see less play, and I mean, if you've watched my recent Beelzemon videos, I don't really run him anymore anyway. And finally, a reprint of X Antibody with an awesome looking new artwork with Alphamon and Omnimon X in the background. What can I say? I think it's going to be a very, very, very long time until we reach the day where this card becomes absolutely obsolete. A lot of decks can just receive support by gaining an X Antibody variant of their boss level Digimon or even the whole line, as we recently saw with Beelzemon X as well. Okay, and with that, that should be all of the 10 reprint cards, with just a double of the EX2 Immon. So now it's time for the main package. Well, why don't we clear up the extra cards at the end first, because as usual, we probably have these like tutorial cards that we don't really need. And finally, these silver cards at the back, quality memory gauges that we've come to expect from every ST product. And man, they look so good this time as well. This time we have purple variants with Beelzemon and a more magenta-ish variants with the new Impmon. I went to dig out my Regna ST memory gauges just to compare, and they're basically just the same good quality. And now finally, the deck itself. Starting off in foil, the new Yamon Digitam. Oh right, the whole deck is supposed to be foil, right? At first I didn't think this Yamon would be very good because I thought I'd usually be attacking with BT2 Immon, which is evil type and not wizard or demon lord. But with all the new tools and support, especially the X Antibody line, I've realized the deck has become less reliant on that on-delete Mill 3. So this guy works out pretty well, and I personally like to run just 4 of him in my Digitama deck. So let's put him down there. Okay, and of course the grinning little ST-14 Immon, which for just 3 cost, if you have at least 20 cards in your trash, on attack, can warp into any Beelzemon from your trash, and just enabling so many turbo shenanigans for the deck. And just a shout out to its inheritable as well, which although it only deletes one opposing level 3 Digimon, the condition is really easy to fulfill just by evolving this Immon into like a Wizardmon X or Witchmon, and sometimes that simple removal of a level 3 can make the difference between victory and defeat. And of course, this is one of the SRs of the deck, just like the ST-7 and 6 Guilmon and Vmons, so I'm not sure how well you can see through the camera, but you can see some special foiling around on the border, like these lines, diagonal lines through the silver as well, which is all very nice. Okay, 1 and 2 copies only, I believe. I mean, he's just too good, man. A new Candlemon which mills 2 on play and on deletes. If you have at least 10 cards in your trash, draw 1 card, so just basically filler space to be eventually replaced by the other Immons that you have. This is Fescomon, a rookie blocker, and during your turn it cannot attack players. Now I wonder why they chose this guy to be the rookie blocker for the deck though, because I mean I do get we don't have a Fescomon card yet, but I personally like to think it's a hint at what's to come as well. And I mean, since we recently got the news from this Wednesday's stream that BT13 versus Royal Knights is gonna focus on Savers as well, I'm kind of expecting to finally get Beelzemon. Okay, so we should have 4 copies of him over here. Next, we have Porcupamon, which is the official champion of the Beelzemon line, which evolves off of Fescomon. It's a champion level blocker with no penalty for attacking, and on play, mill 2 cards. So honestly, as a filler card, that's actually not too bad since you won't be losing 2 memory just for attacking with him. You can just play him like for just 4 cost, man, like just that extra protection to last 1 more turn, and then use it to attack the opponent the next turn for game as well. The only downside would be its low 4k DP, which can be nuked by, well, many things. Alright, next we have the new Witchmon, which is gonna be great for the deck until Wizardmon X arrives. On Evolve Mill 3, and her inheritable gives plus 2k DP during your turn if this Digimon is Wizard or Demon Lord. 1, 2, 3, and 4 copies as well. Next we have the new Balmon, which I have been waiting for so long. Instead of on attack, on evolve mill 3. And on evolve until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon gains on deletes if you have at least 10 cards in your trash, play 1 Beelzemon from your trash and no cost. So I think this solves a lot of problems that we had with BT10 Balmon, and the inheritable is the same plus 2k DP boost as Witchmon. How many copies of Ball? 2, 3, and 4. Nice. Okay, and finally we are moving to our second SR, the new ST-14 Beelzemon. I gotta say, the style of the foiling goes really well with like the sort of American cartoon art style that this specific card has. Like, I don't think it's as visible through the camera, but when you're holding this card in person, it really feels like sort of a bit 3D-ish with like Beelzemon standing out from the background. Really cool. On Evolve Mill 3, and on all turns once per turn when a card is trashed from your deck, gain 1 memory for every 10 cards in your trash. And during your turn once per turn when a card is trashed from your deck, this Digimon gains security attack plus 1 for the turn. So taking away removal and giving it memory gain and aggro instead is ultimately the style of the new Beelze deck, where the main goal no longer has anything to do with deleting your opponent's Digimon or controlling your opponent's field. Just turbo fill up your trash as much as possible, and before you deck out, make your opponent's security hit 0 and go for game. So just like ST-14 Imp, I'm expecting only 2 copies of that. Yep, and here we have the new Beelstarmon as well. I really like what she adds to the deck, and while I think it is still possible to squeeze her in with just the ST-14 support, I think once the new XNC body line with Beelzemon X comes out, it's a bit more difficult to rationalize running even just 1 copy of her. Which is just a bit of a shame, I guess, and it was also quite unfortunate that she didn't really get a chance to shine in my ST-14 Beelze battle against Machinedramon. The cost to play this card from your hand is reduced by 4 for every 10 cards in your trash, so once you're at 30, she's a 1 cost to play, and you will want to play her at that point. Because on all turns, once per turn when a card is trashed from your deck, you can play 1 Immon from your trash and give it rush. So if you choose ST-14 Immon, it can instantly warp into a Beelze to fight alongside your Beelstar. I managed to pull off this combo a few times when I was playtesting the deck, and I mean, it is just insane and so beautiful when it happens. And during the opponent's turn, when an opposing Digimon attacks, you can trash the top card of your deck, so this will synergize with her earlier all turns effect, allowing you to pull an Impamon from your trash at that point as well. Which would be pretty funky if one day we get an Immon with blocker, right? Because then that would come in pretty clutch. So I think that's 2 copies of her before we are finishing off with the new SR Blast mode, which simply just adds on more to the new aggro forget about removal win condition. First, when this card is trashed from your deck, you can delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon and increase the max level you can choose by 1 for every 10 cards in your trash. So potentially more powerful than the EX2 Blast mode, which is permanently just stuck at a level 4 removal. And on Evolve, unsuspend this Digimon. If you have 20 or more cards in your trash, gain 3 memory. So once you are set up, he is just a 1-cost Evolve with unsuspend. And of course, if you use EX2 I and Mako, 0 cost. Very awesome stuff, and I just love clinching games with this guy, man. That's 2 of him. Now here we have the new I and Mako. On play, you can search the top 4 cards of your deck for a Digimon with Evil, Wizard, or Demon Lord in its traits, and during your turn, when your Digimon evolves into a Purple Digimon, you can suspend this Tamer to rig your top deck with 1 card from your hand and gain 1 memory. So of course, this goes very well with the Beelzemon deck's mill mechanics, allowing you to essentially choose the effects you want to trigger off the top of your deck, while also saving some memory as well. But personally, again, I feel at just the point of ST-14, EX2 I and Mako is still just a bit more relevant. But if you've seen my recent Beelzemon X battle video, I think once the X antibody line comes out, you won't really be needing the old I and Mako anymore. Just relying on this one might be more powerful. Because in that case, your winning combo becomes go into ST-14 Beelze, then Beelze X, then Beelze Blast, which the EX2 I and Mako disrupts because it forces you to go from Beelze directly into Blast mode. Although of course there are some situations where that can be very powerful as well. 4 copies of them. And now we have the new option card with the delay effect, Warring Shots. I honestly was sleeping on this card when it first was revealed. I seriously thought it was just mainly filler and maybe more for the 3 Musketeers since it's 7 cost rather than Beelze. But after playtesting, you need at least 1, maybe even 2 copies of this card in your Beelze deck. Because I don't even care about the main effects, alright? When this card is trashed from your deck, place it in your battle area, and that's the only way you'll be able to use its delay effects in order to return any Purple Digimon or Tamer from your trash to your hand. With all of the new support, you are going to be trashing so hard that there is a decent chance you will trash all of the cards that you need. And of course, while many of them do belong in the trash like ST-14 Beelzemon, there are some that you will definitely want in your hand at key moments in the game. And this card will basically allow you to access them whenever you want. If you think about it a different way, it is basically the ultimate search card because you are gonna mill so much of the new Beelze support that most of your deck is gonna be in the trash, and by allowing you to return any appropriate card from your trash to your hand, this card suddenly becomes the ultimate tutor. I cannot recommend it enough, but of course its main and security effects are not superb, so I don't think it needs to be a 4-off, especially when you want to allocate some space for Death Slinger. I mean, that is still, I think, the top ranked option card that belongs in this deck. Okay, now we're moving into reprint territory. We have a few 4 copies of BT2 Immon, 4 copies of Promo Wizardmon. I love this guy so much. I think this guy will forever be played as a level 4 in Beelzemon's decks for like even the next 10 years to come, because you can't power creep this, because if you do, this deck is just gonna be nuts. Next, BT8 Skull Satamon, my personal favorite level 5 to run in the deck, at least until we get Balmon X. But even then, I like this guy a bit more, but I think Balmon X is a bit hard to say no to. So 4 copies of that, and ending off with 4 copies of course, my favorite, Death Slinger. Just milling this card for days for that memory gain, and of course from your hand once your trash is filled up, the ultimate removal. That's all I have to share. Love this product, and I'll see you guys in the next Digimon video.